Hi guys, welcome to another fantasy matchup. I think this is the third episode, and today we'll be going to the welterweight division. We've got Kamaru Usman versus George St. Pierre, arguably the GOAT, versus Kamaru Usman, who's in some people's eyes, he's the greatest welterweight of all time. Two good wrestlers, heavy wrestlers. GSP probably had better grappling, better jiu-jitsu, better striking as well, but Usman had that top heavy wrestling pressure. He had that power as well.
Yeah, and it was like a big discussion a bit like when Usman was on that tear just after he'd beaten when he knocks out Masvidal. It was like, yo, and when he beat Colby for the second time. And this was like a highly discussed matchup, and it's an interesting matchup too, like wrestler heavy type of style, so it would kind of clash. And obviously, a lot of people got different opinions on this. It's probably one of them that split opinions, but let's just get into how they match up against each other.
Yeah, so like on the feet, I feel like GSP is just good enough to stay away from Usman's right hand. Like Usman's boxing developed a lot, like throughout his career, and especially his last couple of fights, his striking had really improved. But I feel like he got way too confident with his hands, a bit like Bilal Muhammad did like a couple of weeks ago against JDM. But he was starting to rely on those hands a lot more, and I feel like he was overconfident. He did think he was a bit better than he was, and GSP did have really good striking. Like he had a good jab, and he also used his kicks really well. He had a more diverse catalog of strikes really. So I feel like on the feet it would be like GSP just point fighting, and just winning on the feet.
Uh, I could see that. Obviously, GSP does have a more diverse striking skill set. You know, he's got the Superman job that he utilizes. He's got better kicks than Usman. He's probably just like a bit more nimble and he has like slightly better movement. But Usman was very like he developed his fundamentals very good. And like he did probably think he's better than he was in the striking, but he didn't really get into any trouble from it. Like he got dropped briefly by Burns, but that's essentially it. Like in that Leon fight, he was essentially boxing Leon against the cage, and that's Leon's a very good striker. Like you could argue Leon's a better kickboxer than GSP. So I'm not saying like he would dominate GSP like that, but I don't think GSP would just be able to outpoint him. Like I can't really picture a time Usman has just been outstruck like that for a long period of time. And I think on the feet, realistically, it'd be quite even. I think it'd pretty much be split down the middle.
I don't know. I do think because Usman does like swing wild, especially in tight exchanges. He lets his hands go way too free, and like he kind of throws from the shoulder. Like he just his arms start flopping a bit. It's like
Yeah,
very wild, and he just swings.
I've
And I
seen
feel like
GSP in
GSP,
in very similar exchanges like that as well. Like he's probably more technical than Usman, but if at any point they get into a less technical type of scrap, we've seen what Usman dropping Colby, sending Marshall to the Shadow Realm, knocking out Burns. GSP's never done anything like that. So like that's a really big risk.
that's
It's
the
easy, they're
that's the
having
equalizer though, isn't it? In those exchanges, is Usman's power is the big equalizer.
yeah, it's
That's what GSP needs to try his hardest to stay away from.
100%. And that's why I'm like, it's even. If GSP was a clearly better striker, I'd be like, Usman has to just make it a dogfight. But I don't think he's that clear, especially in the boxing. I think he's just like marginally better. And Usman with that big power advantage, it's like that's a big risk for GSP on the feet.
No, I see where you're coming from, but I do think GSP would just have the advantages on the feet because of the kicks as well. But then, like, if you go to the other thing, the grappling, it's also very, very even.
Yeah, it's very even. And I think me personally, I think it would essentially get kind of neutralized, similar to the Colby fights. And like me, and obviously we've seen Leon take Usman down, and Leon's a pure striker. But that was a bit more of a trip, and obviously GSP, he's more of a double leg type of guy, which I think Usman would be able to defend most of that. And I think same goes for GSP. Like Usman might shoot, I think GSP will be able to defend it. So I think it most likely they'd maybe get a takedown or two on each other, but it'd mostly be a stand up fight for the majority of the fight.
Yeah, but like I feel like in those positions as well, I feel like GSP, if one of them ends up getting the other to the ground, GSP would have a slight advantage because of his jiu-jitsu. He did have better jiu-jitsu, I feel like, than Usman.
Yeah, he did. But I'd say like Usman survived someone like Chimaev, who's much bigger than GSP, and I'd say is a better jiu-jitsu artist. So I wouldn't worry about him surviving. Or like to be fair, even like getting out of them situations, like he was stuck in the body triangle by Chimaev, but I don't really see him getting stuck in any position like two bad positions by GSP. I think if he was, they'd scramble. He'd scramble back up. And I think same goes for GSP. If he's in a bad position on the ground, he'll scramble back up.
It'd be really interesting to watch. They'd have some really fun scrambles.
Yeah,
But
it really
yeah,
would.
I feel like overall, I would have GSP winning by decision.
Me personally, I think it'd be a close fight, and I could see it going either way. I think if they like fought 10 times, I could do it 5-5, but I'm gonna probably go 6-4 Usman. So I think Usman will just edge it most likely, and it's like just from even like that Hendricks fight is something you can look towards. Obviously, like is a very different type of grappler to Usman, but just even him getting dropped by someone like Sarah, I know that's early, and I know it's like whatever, but I could just see Usman hurting him definitely. Like maybe it's a close fight, but Usman drops him, GSP recovers, but
And then that could win him the round.
yeah, I think it could be. I think most likely it'd be like a 3-2 type of Usman decision, or just one of them type of
I
like.
can see it going 3-2 either way, but I just think GSP edges it.
Yeah, fair enough. Let us know what you think. It's obviously it's a highly discussed fight, and you know me saying this, I'm not saying Usman's better or anything. I just think just on the matchup, obviously I think GSP's like probably second or third best fighter of all time. But I think in terms of pure matchups, that's probably one of the hardest matchups I can even think of, like past or current fighters for him.
Yeah, just let us know who you guys would think in this matchup, and if there's any fantasy matchups you guys think we should be doing next.
Yeah, let us know. Put it in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow the Twitch as well. And see you.